Ụmụafọ Igbo chọrọ ọdịmma ndị Igbo anọrọ na ugbu a wee na-akparo ka ndị Igbo ga-esi weta oke ha site na ndọrọndọrọ ọchịchị obodo. Ya mere ha ji hibe otu ha kpọrọ South East Political Summit, ebe ha ga-anọ wee na-akụziri ndị Igbo otu ha ga-esi si na ndọrọndọrọ ọchịchị obodo weta ikike ha ga-eji wee keta oke ha na ndọrọndọrọ ma ọ bụ ihe bara uru na ọchịchị onye kwuo uche ya nke Naịjirịa. Ọkwa ya mere ha ji wee kpọkuo ndị otu nta akụkọ na mba ụwa dị iche iche wee gwa ha ebumnobi ha. Ha mere nke a n'obodo Enugu. Ha kwuru ihe dị iche iche wee tụọ alo otu ndị Igbo ga-eji wee na-eketazi oke ha site na otu ndọrọndọrọ ọchịchị, mana ha chọrọ ka ndị Igbo mata na ha ga-eme nke a site na iweta ikike na ndọrọndọrọ dị iche iche. Ya mere ha ji akpọku ndị Igbo niile ka ha mata uru ịbata n'otu ndọrọndọrọ bara ma ọ bụ isi na ndọrọndọrọ ọchịchị wee weta ihe ha chọrọ ma dozikwa obodo ha. Otu a na-ekwu maka ya bụ South East Political Summit bụ Nwaada Eberechukwu Anigboọgụ bụ onye ndu ha. Ngwa na-egbughị oge, lekwanụ ma kirienu ka ha si wee gwa ndị nta akụkọ okwu n'obodo Enugu. Lekwanụ ka nke a si mee.
I will now call on Madam Eberechukwu Anigboọgụ to give us the press statement.
World Press Conference of the Southeast Political Summit held at Roban Hotels, Enugu this day, 10th May 2018. Reinventing the political consciousness of the Southeast. Gentlemen of the press, we heartily welcome you all to this World Press Conference. It has become auspicious and imperative for us at the platform of the Southeast Political Summit to address you at this momentous and critical period of our history. Although the concept of Southeast was a grand design to break up the Igbo nation, make us landlocked, and deny us economic respiration from the sea, we use it here without forgetting that Ndi Igbo are in the middle belt as well as in the south-south. Every search for solution begins with a single step and from a single spot. So we begin from the southeast. Southeast is the heart of the habitation of Ndi Igbo, a global race that has been classified as one of the world's 10 great tribes. We are disturbed by the state of these people that our sister, Professor Kathleen Achalon, in her Locus Clausus book, They Lived Before Adam, Prehistory of the Igbos, They Never Been Ruled, argues, gave birth to well-known world civilizations. There is an enormous degree of burden placed on our shoulders to chart a new course for our people so that we can remove the cost caused by political lethargy and its attendant socio-economic downturn of our society. There is a yearning vacuum that needs urgent attention to be filled by alternative statesmen who have the interests of our people at heart, to rescue our political space from the doldrums of political somnambulism. Why is the homeland of the first indigenous governor general, president of Nigeria, and the man who inspired nationalist agitation in Africa the great Zik of Africa, in this sorry state? What happened to a people that gave Nigeria her first indigenous military general, Agui Ironsi? What is happening to education among the people that gave Nigeria her first indigenous vice chancellor, KODK? Her first indigenous PhD, Adiele Afiigo, and the father of African literature, Chinolo Achebe. What is wrong with the economy of a people that produced Africa's first millionaire and the man whose Rolls Royce was borrowed by Nigeria to drive Queen Elizabeth II during her state visit in February 1956, Sir Louis Odumegwu Ojukwu? What is now wrong with the people who gave the world the father of the internet, Philip Emeagwali? How can the place that was the fastest growing economy in the 1960s under M.I. Okpara be in this such developmental quandary? Where are the Nwafọ reasons? Where are the Alban Ikokos, the K.O. Mbadiwes, the Akano Ibiams, the Ofia ones? Where are the Ngono Chikes, the CZOBs, the Sam Bakwes, Sisionos, Oyibo Ordinamados, and others of the Southeast politics? Why have we continually remained the underdogs, despite having produced the Margaret Ekpos, the Dora Akunelus, the Stella Odwas, the Okonjo Iwealas, the Nti Okereko Onyukes, the Chimamanda Adichie, and the Onyeka Onwenus? What has happened to the greatness foreseen by the Eze Kanu Ojis, Igwe Charles Abangu, Igwe Edward Nnajis, Igwe John Nwodos, and other great royalties of our people? These are the people who produced the first president of Liberia and the current president of Gabon. The apathy, cultural surrender, and political ignorance that has ravaged our territory and reduced us to mere spectators in the political struggle of the past 20 years is the reason why we have decided to take the bulls by the proverbial horns. We have decided that it is time to sensitize, mobilize, and conscientize our people to rise up and fully occupy our political space. We are not a political party, no. It is not just another political pressure group, never. It is rather a mass movement geared towards reinventing political consciousness in the Southeast. Our goal is to ensure that democratic decision-making returns to our people. We desire that men and women of integrity, sincerity, honesty, and sacrifice return to the political driver's seats again. We are aware that pristine Igbo society operated the best democracy the world ever knew. In those days, when the people gather under the big trees or the town halls to deliberate, families and clans, age grades and elders pick the best, the most trusted, and the righteous to represent them. We are no longer going to have leaders who will tell the people they are supposed to serve that things are hard, yet they live in opulence and splendor. We are searching for leaders like Michael Okpara and Akano Ibiam, whose estates, companies, hotels, outlandish houses we cannot see today among the people. They were selfless. They lived for our people. Ndi Igbo need to be told that 33 years ago, precisely in 1985, when Okpara died, his body was kept in the morgue so that a bungalow could be erected at his father's compound before his burial. Although we should honor our leaders while they are alive. Okpara is an example of selfless service. Compare this with the kleptomania of the current crop of leaders, that you will agree with us that this reinvention of political consciousness is timely. We already have tens of thousands of members waiting in every village, every town and local government area in the southeast who share our goals and who are worried by the political ignorance exhibited by our people. They are determined to embark on this historical mission to free our people from this self-imposed bondage. According to Lee Kuan Yew, father of modern Singapore, the best principle for social transformation is a merit-based society. We can no longer sacrifice merit on the altar of political parasitism, sycophancy, and rapacious politicking. George Washington, the first president of the United States of America, once said, and I quote, "Worry is interest paid by those who borrow trouble." Our political class has borrowed trouble, and their words, body language, by their words or with their words, body language and action. They should be worried now that the people want to take back their power. However, they have an option. They either repent and join the Southeast Political Summit train as it moves to the Freedom Station, or risk being retired ingloriously with the Permanent Voters Card, PVC, which we all know is deadlier than an AK-47. Southeast must be administered by those chosen by the people and not by anti-people politicians who play agency roles for forces outside our political space. Our state, local government, and ward coordinators are men and women who have waited for platforms such as ours. They understand the urgency and the importance of the task at hand. Those who want to lead us must be people of proven integrity, men and women for whom politics is not merchandise. Any party that fields a candidate that has credibility problem or that has a past with can of worms would have itself to blame at the polls, because we have resolved to take our destiny in our hands. We believe that sovereignty belongs to the people, and our members would mobilize the people to take back power from the usurpers. We call upon you, all brothers and sisters, to come with us. You artisan, you trader, you businessman and woman, professional, captain of industry, religious leader, you traditional institution, politician and student. We call upon you to be part of this great journey. The die is cast. Welcome on board the electric train called Southeast Political Summit. See you at the Freedom Station, where the train will finally stop. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
As the name stands, Southeast Political Summit, is there any plan by this organization to hold kind of rally in public place to sensitize people? Again, looking at the table, I've not seen any person from the government or representing the government here to carry this message home. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Jude Chinedu. I'm from Orient Daily. I would like to know if there is any plan by this group to liaise with other bodies, like Organize and other groups. Is there any plan like that?
From the Nation Israel. I've heard you, and all you have said. But my question is, have you identified the cause of this degeneration, decay in the service, selfless service to the people of Southeast as it was before? Why is it so now that our leaders of today, why are they so interested in acquiring wealth?
My own name is Mbiso, and I'm representing Bivia Channel 1. Considering the fact that the politics of today is politics of money, and what you have in the pocket to offer to the people. Again, considering the fact that the people out there outside this place, I mean the average people on the street, are poor. They have no food to eat. What is their immediate plans to get to these people? To convert them, just like the churches are converting people, to join the ideology of Southeast political summit. However, I also want to ask, do you have plans to go out there to start having a town hall meeting in order to reach the people? Thank you.
Our leader will now respond to these questions.
Thank you once more. On this table, on this high table, so to say, are the leaders. So, I am not going to answer these questions alone. We will take it one after the other. Yes, thank you.
Then let me finish on the question.
Okay.
Then I expected some government
officials
to be here.
To be here.
Like I carry the message home.
Okay. Number one is that we have some government officials here. They are not written, you know, your government official is not written by somebody's forehead. But we have some of them seated here. And we have sent messages even before today. Yes, there is plan for a rally. There is plan for town hall meetings. There is plan for a fiscal summit. Because like I said, we are going to conscientize our people. And we cannot just sit down, you know, in our respective houses to do that. We have our coordinators everywhere, you know, in all the states, even in all the local governments, down to the wards. And from time to time, we go from Enugu State to Abia to Imo, all the states in the southeast, for a fiscal rally and a fiscal summit. Here we will invite our people who share in the same vision as ours, to come and speak to our people. And with this, we believe that our people will come along, because our vision is worthwhile. And that is what is needed in the southeast now. Political apathy. Our people are no longer interested, because both the past leaders and the present leaders have failed since after the days of 1999, after the days of Okpara and Co. They have failed us. And now that we have realized, we have come together. Just like the Bible says, that two cannot work together except they agree. The Southeasterners have agreed. And now we can work together to achieve our aim. Thank you. I don't know if that has answered your question. All right. The second question.
The second question came from the man from Orient newspaper.
All right, yes. Yes. We have fathers. We are Igbos. We have fathers. Ohaneze Ndi Igbo and other Igbo socio-economic and political, cultural. We'll go to all of them. We have even gone to some of them. They know that we are here. And we will always run back to them for advice. Some of them are old. We are young. We are the youth. We'll go to them for advice, and whatever advice they give us, that will carry us through. Thank you.
Okay. Questions from Mr. Chris Hodge.
I have it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, gentlemen of the press, leaders of the Southeast Political Summit. Our comrade Roger was asking why the deterioration. I think that is summary of the question you posed. Why the deterioration?
Yes.
Yes. And the deterioration is informed by the fact that there has been age-long military dictatorship in the country, where people's views are no longer tolerated or, looked for by the political or the military leaders. So they were doing things, suspended the constitution, which is the grand norm, of course, which Nigerians came together. The people who own this project called Nigeria came together and wrote a constitution in 1963 called the Republican Constitution. Today, we are no longer being run by such, constitution. It was suspended, and we are being ruled by decrees until 1999, when Decree 24 was imposed on Nigerians. There was no time people came together to enact that law. So the less military dictatorship, also informed this decay in our society. The second issue is the lack of political education. In some parts of the country, like in Western Nigeria, people are assembled, from time to time to be spoken to. The younger generation, there are people who didn't know about civilian democracy, who are today, some of them are today political leaders in Igbo land. They didn't know how Kpakpando, operated in Eastern region. They didn't know who is Akanibian, and so on and so forth. So those names are like strange people in those days to them. And so they didn't have mentors, who they looked upon to begin to operate in governance. The third issue is appointment of political leaders of the South from outside Igbo land. So when people impose you owe allegiance to them rather than the people. So what do I say is that time has come when the Igbo must aggregate together to elect people who will lead them, and not people who will be appointed from Abuja or any part of the country. You see how people rush to other farm, so other people rush to Mina, and so on and so forth, to be anointed to lead in Igbo. So when those people were appointed by those persons, they owe allegiance to them. They do what they ask them to do, and not what will benefit the Igbo. You recall when Okpara was in power. Some of us did not meet Okpara, but we read about him. What is the plantation in Igbo land? I was in Turkey in 2013, and I met a 7-year-old Malaysia. He met some of us who were from Africa discussing. I said, this is an African session. And at the end of the day, he was asking us where we came from. I told him I was a Nigerian. He said, from where? I said, Eastern Nigeria, I'm an Igbo man. I'm interested in you, young man. You know what asked me? The success story of palm produce in Igbo land or in Nigeria. That they were people who were harnessed from the Eastern region to come and teach them how to produce palm produce, to plant and produce, harness palm produce. And they later became the largest producer of palm produce in the world. Until recently when Indonesia took over from them. What is the success story of palm produce for agriculture in Igbo land today? What is the rubber plantation? What is other rice was built by Okpara, and we were producing rice and exporting. What is the story of that? What is the Kalago cement factory? And we can go on and on and on. Roads that were built in those days, some of them are still motorable today. But they build the roads today, the next tomorrow, the road will be tearing off. So because they don't owe allegiance, and we are coming to tell our people that the power belongs to us, we have to anoint people who are selfless, who are honest, who are sacred, who are godly, that will lead this part of the country. That is the message we are going to pass to Nigerians and to Ndi. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Questions here from the Oracle newspapers.
Once again, my name is Reverend Ambassador Lucky Elon, Abia Coordinator, Southeast Political Summit. I want to, before I come to you, I will take it briefly from what I captured. Bishops. Government presence in any environment or struggle or organization is obvious because we are also government personnel. Government will be watching people, will be looking at you to make a move. When it is a conscious move, a drive that will bring in development, politically and economically, they will come into to buy the idea. Southeast Political Summit, as far as I'm concerned, coming from the side of Abia State, has a wide acceptance when it was seen or viewed by the government personnel. But I'm watching to see how far the movement or consciousness or the movement will move or go. So what we're looking at is, if we are able to let the world know what we have in mind, where government is not interested is when a conscious move is being hijacked by persons for negative interest or negative purpose. It becomes contrary. Then government will not be interested. But a conscious move that will bring Southeast together to touch the life of persons, like we have mentioned, every area in the Southeast Igbo land, Abia, Ebonyi, and all the 5 states, we can find that people are cheated, people are uncomfortable, people are not participating fully, people are not involved in politics. The essence of this very move is to be able to let people understand the essence of being in politics and people to participate fully at the national level. Be able to tell when it is important to be part of the governance. If that is what we're asking for, this program is also government approved because it has to do with governance. How do we tell the people how to get the PVCs? How do we go to the villages, give the orientation? Because most people are not doing it. Today is ongoing in Arabia. People, the PVC is ongoing. Then how do we tell them to go and get the PVCs? It's only the power of PVCs that will let you know or let you select or elect the right person that will take care of the governance of any state. So on that note, government also is involved in what we are doing. That is on government. The next one is, what are the plans to get to the people? It is very straightforward strategy. Information is power. And when you get or try to strategize the information dissemination processes, you will get to the people. How? We have mentioned rally here, we have mentioned town hall meetings, we have mentioned visitations, we have mentioned media, like for this one we're doing is one of the also the best press conference. They will hear it. These are mediums or strategies whereby the people will hear us. The next one is the financial capacity. What is the financial capacity of this very group? Yes, finance runs every organization. Finance runs every move. But let me inform you that when there is a will, there is a way. If we have this very consciousness or the mindset to drive a move that has to touch the life of persons, obviously the finance will flow. As I am now, if I see any assignment that is capable of bringing development for Wasa community or for West Abia State, I am very much bound to invest or put in any amount involved to make sure we try it. So finance comes when there's a way, because there's a will. The next one is the outreach. It also goes with the issue of grassroots mobilization through orientations and political education. People should, as we go now, we are enough, up to 20 here, begin to disseminate information, the teaching, orientation of one person is a kind of like the leader said, it is a movement that comes from the hierarchy, national to state, from state to local government to grassroots. It's a structure. Even in politics, in the state government, there are about structures. If you don't manage a structure by way of information management or teachings or political sensitization, it will not work. So it is obvious that information will pass from the national level down to the grassroots. The plan to liaise with organizers, he has answered you. The need for forum, town hall meeting, that's I said already. I will leave it here with others to continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay.
Thank you very much. The question you are posing is how do we get these persons, these honest persons? You see, I've mentioned earlier that we have lack of political education. What you don't know, we are speaking English here because we underwent tutelage from primary school, secondary school, to maybe tertiary institutions. So what you don't know, you don't know. People have to be taught that these are role models. As I mentioned that there are no, some of us, even including those who are in power, who don't know who Okpara was, who don't know Ezogomana. Some of these names that were mentioned here. Do you know what it means that somebody was a premier of Eastern region and he died and he has no house? You know what it means? The message has to be carried home. There are persons who are more honest or who may be as honest as Okpara, but because nobody has taught them, they think that what is in play is coming to power to loot and maybe coming to practice selfishness, primordial and primitive tendencies in governance, which is no longer accepted across the world. Christ came and stayed for 32 years and affected the whole universe. But Methuselah was already reading the Bible. So by the time we move around to discuss, because I wasn't like this, it was because let me tell you that when I got admission in Uniport, my intention was to make a first class. Because those who were making first classes do not have 2 brains or 2 heads. But when I got to the place, I saw what I could not imagine. There were over 2,000 students taking lectures, and some were hanging out. Could not sit in the. There was no electricity. There was no. And we were asked not to come to lantern or gas or anything, to light for our uses. There was a time for 2 weeks. There was no electricity. There was no water in Uniport, and people were defecating all over the places, and the whole place was stinking. Then I made a mark that what will be the benefit, what of benefit will it be to me when I made the first class, and I come out as an idiot. So I decided to join the political movement, the political education class. There was a group there called the Soldiers of Southern Africa in Nigeria, and that was how we were trained. So nobody knew it from his or her mother's womb. You come out, you associate. We mentioned the Lee Kuan Yew here in Singapore. He was a human being. He was not a spirit. There are many Nigerians or many Igbo people who will be more Lee Kuan Yew than Lee Kuan Yew. So it is a true education. So we're going to educate our people. We're going to tell them that what we're having today is not governance. America was built by human beings. They were not built by spirit. Europe was built by human beings. They were not built by. I don't know if you have gone to South Africa and see the kind of society. You can't imagine that. Bring that to Nigeria. And Nigeria fought for the liberation of South Africa. So how come we cannot look? If you go back to the primary school where you went, you will not be able to recognize it today. The place was dilapidated, collapsed. Do you know that they use vernacular to teach English to our children? Because the governor's children do not come to these public schools. Because the commissioner's children do not come to these schools. Because the minister's children do not attend public schools. If I become governor of this state, my children will go to public schools. In fact, let me tell you, I live in Lagos. My wife took my first son to get admission in private schools, and I called her and said, my children will not enter private schools. 1, I don't have the money, I'm not stolen. 2, it is not encouraged. I went to public schools, and I want you to bring my contemporary from private school to challenge me. If that person wins me, it's because he's more intelligent, not because he went to private school. And so my wife took this boy to private school and was telling him that he was doing very well. Admission came, and I asked him, which school is that? He said, I said, my son will not go to private school. My son is in Abeson High School in Abeson Estate in Lagos. I have to pay 20,000 for him to be admitted in public school, so that you pass through the crucibles of what his colleagues are passing through. If I have money, all other people have money. If I spend all my money on him or my own children, what of the other people who are surrounding me? So we must begin to be our brothers' keepers, our sisters' keepers. That is the philosophy of need. So what we are saying is that by the time we begin this political campaign, this emancipation campaign, we will see people who will say, go to hell with your money. We will see people who will say, build the roads in my community. Don't give me money. Go and provide for people with electricity. Give them pipe warm water. Build their schools. I come from a local government where there's only 1/3 road until recently. And we call ourselves the manpower of the state. Only 1/3 road since 1989. And we've been having money. They call it stakeholders now. When the allocation comes, the stakeholders will sit down and divide and share the money. And no longer have the interest of the people at heart. So the process we are going to use is to begin to talk to our people, to educate our people, to sensitize our people, to mobilize our people, and tell them the goodies of good government. This opera we are talking about half. There was a man who was the former Minister of Foreign Affairs. I think some of us know him. When I was doing my youth service in Port Harcourt, Mbu came to visit his son, who lived in Ngoba, and my friend Chris Akani was a friend. He's a friend to the son, so he invited us to welcome his father. You know what Mbu was telling us about? Yes, it's important. But he's telling us about Okpara. He said when he left this country to study medicine in UK, he visited him and gave him little money when he was leaving. He was jumping up. A premier was jumping up that money was given to him. He said, I gave him that. Can you imagine what that one means? Which means this thing. So that is the process I think we are going to do.
Thank you very much, sir. We at Southeast Political Summit, we didn't start with money. We don't have sponsors. Money is not coming from anywhere. This is just a gathering of conscious Southeasterners who decided that no, we are tired of the system we are living in. We decided to come together and say, this is what we want. We want better governance for our people, and we will come together as a group. Now, those who have money, because some of our people are very rich. There are those who are averagely rich. Those who have money contributed to what we are doing today. It is not coming from one government office in Kano or Sokoto. It is our peanuts that we put together. And that is what we intend to continue doing. We'll keep mobilizing people. With the little we have, we'll move 1 inch. If we have more than that, we'll move another inch until we get to all the crevices of our communities. As of today, as I'm talking to you now, people in my ward, in my village of Nkerifi, are already aware of what we are doing here, because we decided that we will talk to our state coordinators who spoke, who mobilized the local government. All local government in the Southeast have been mobilized. They all have coordinators, and those ones have mobilized for the wards. All the wards in the Southeast have been mobilized. So that way we'll keep moving from grassroots to grassroots. And that is how we intend. It's not about how much we have, but about how much impact our message can make on our people.
The Bible says, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? We are starting from the foundation. A rotten foundation will have to be pulled down. A house that was built on a faulty foundation, for you to get it right again, you pull that house down and you start afresh. And that is what we are doing. We have people who don't have money. Sovereignty, like we say, belongs to the people. By the time we begin this teaching, there are people who will say, give me no money. Give me the PVC. Let me go and do the needful. And when the right people, when the righteous begin to rule, the people will be at peace. The people will rejoice. And that is where we are starting. The education. Telling people that though you are hungry, you can be hungry this year, refuse that money this year, do what you are supposed to do this year. By next year, you begin to eat well. I go one day, and I a woman. I go 1 year, and I a woman. This 2018-2019, we will so conscientize our people that these politicians will run to them with money and they will reject money and they will say, let me go and vote that my brother and my sister who will deliver me, who will help me and my children, our destinies, so that, for instance, your child finishes university, is a graduate, he come out and he begin to work. How much will a governor give you that your son or your daughter who is working and is giving you monthly will not give you? We don't want somebody who will carry the whole money and begin to give us as beggars 2 naira 20. No, we want somebody who will rule us and will give our children employment. Let there be factories in Igbo land. We are tired of hotels. Our girls cannot make it from going from one hotel to the other, selling their bodies. But give us industries, give us factories. Our children will work, they will get money. And what Okpara practiced will come back to Southeast. Thank you.
The emphasis on PVC, political education, and everything that concerns us can't even be overemphasized. We know the issues surrounding PVC, and then how important your vote, your voter's card is. Everybody that has spoken on the table has said, political education, political education, political education. You can't even overemphasize that. Part of that political education is our voter's card. Knowing where to get it, how to get it, and how to use it. Our power as a people is this PVC as of this moment. It is a political time. Everybody, especially in the Southeast, must have a PVC. Everybody from the age of 18 that is given as the threshold. Now, we know in the Southeast we have a problem. The problem being, even from the up to our own selves, we have this political apathy. The average Igbo man doesn't actually have time to go and deal with all these things. But in the Southeast Political Summit, we are going to insist. We're going to go to the villages, just like my colleagues have all said. This education has to be taken to the grassroots. Yes, we agree we have a problem from up there, and those problems are in forms of no light, no this, not enough fuel to generate for the generators, not enough manpower, distances, locations, and all whatnot. Even the delays all constitute part of the problems we have as a challenge getting our PVCs in the Southeast. But I tell you, a few people are working, to make these things easier. Southeast Political Group is part of those people who are going to make it a little bit easier. We will go to the rich, if need be. Ask for help. I'm talking of in the communities. Ask for help. Help in the sense of there is no generator that is government provided. Please, can we have some funds to power this generator to assist your locality, your own locality? Let your people get their PVCs. That is where our power lies. I'll give you a typical example. In our bed today, we've been canvassing, this can be taken to the markets, to the churches and all whatnot. And yes, we've heard of churches that have brought the PVCs down to their churches, so to make it a bit easier for their people or members to access the PVCs. I know of Enugu State Chairman of the Market Association, or where in particular. He has actually brought it to the market because our people who leave their market and their stores go to get PVCs. They spend 3 days, 4 days without getting it. And the average Igbo man doesn't have that time. These are part of the things, education, that we will still shout out louder for us to access our PVC. I hope that answers the person's the person asked the question of this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are gradually coming to the end of the press conference.
I don't know if you know that the pro-Biafran groups have come together and formed a coalition. So that song, the song that you just sang, was that of yesterday. We have come together, the pro-Biafran groups have come together and formed a coalition. And in that coalition, one of the reasons coming together is to take over our political space. We are Biafrans, yes, but we are still in Nigeria. We are still in Nigeria. And as long as we are still in Nigeria, whatever that happens in Nigeria, we must be part of it. Politics inclusive. We are more, we are more specific this time around. Our southeast, our own states here, when we get it right here, then Nigeria will be good or will be better. If that man, that woman, that boy, that girl, that believe in alignment of our choice, whatever that is happening in Singapore, that is good, we want it to happen here. We'll start from here. Let those men and women take over the political space that understand that Akurunu, the men and women that will want to, our people, make this place too comfortable for our people to come and invest. Not people who will have our people here and they will carry our money to Dubai to build hotels and schools. The days of those leaders are gone in Igbo land, in the southeast. So pro-Biafran groups are in this with us together. Thank you. Restructuring, yes, we believe. Yes, we believe in the restructuring. If Nigeria is restructured, whatever we have here, whatever God has given to us, we will begin to make use of it. Then the federal or is it the federal capital or Abuja will not, whatever we get after every month, whatever donation we have to donate for whatever to happen there, we donate. Then whatever we have, he talked about the other rice, the cashew plantation, the Niger Cell, the flour mills and the rest. If we can come back to all these things, our children will no longer go to Lagos to look for employment. They will no longer go to Abuja to look for employment. So we believe in a restructured Nigeria.
Excuse me, please. When we talk about restructuring, some of our brothers in the north will say they don't know what we are talking. So we are being specific now. We want dissolution of power. The economic and political power to be returned to the regions. So whatever we agree on the table, we look at the percentage that we will send to the center. So this is what we want. We are specific on that. But we are not saying that no restructuring, no election. There we say no. But we are in total support of restructuring. Thank you.
God bless you. What caused the rise of this agitation? It is not the only Igbo people that were agitating. You recall that UPC started in southwestern Nigeria when the election of 1993 was announced. Because something must give rise to something. There is agitation in southeast or in Igbo land because you have taken the people's property, the people's governance away from them and giving them poverty and giving them illiteracy and giving them ignorance. There was nothing that the political leadership in the Southeast since 1999 has given especially the youth. And so they see what their colleagues are benefiting from other parts of the country. Their roads are not tarred. Even the international report they say they give us, they just take that so that it will not cause me to die. And if you provide all these amenities, facilities, and opportunities for the people, you think anybody will pick up the gun and begin to, roam the street to agitate? There's nobody wants to die, and there's nobody wants to live in abject poverty. So if you provide good governance and provide the facilities that these boys are agitating for, then they will be calm. They will reduce the tension. On how you get talking about mobilization, what is consciousness? Consciousness is that you go to the radio, you go to the television, these media that are here, you continue to propagate these issues. There will be media, presence. There will be political, rallies. People will be talking to themselves, So you see, in South Africa, since 1912, the APNALC has been fighting for liberation until 1991 when they got liberated. So the youth were rising, the people were rising, even when the consumer became very corrupt. The blacks in South Africa were saying this is not the kind of struggle we fought. And you can see what has happened to him. So this mobilization will begin to, sensitize the people. So that even the issue of giving money, you saw what happened in Anambra during the last election. There was a young man in one of the communities in Anambra. He donated 1 billion naira to APC, governorship candidate. He gave 30 million naira to his community. But on the day of the election, he lost on the polling units in front of his house. That is consciousness. Because we don't want people to be imposed from outside, and we don't want corrupt people to be imposed on us. So when these persons come, these honest persons come, you will know them. They will give us good roads. They will give us good education. They will give us good market. They will give us food to eat. They will encourage agriculture. And then people will become busy and run away from social vice.
I want to ask wonderful Ada, how do we do it? From I am aware, many groups will come out to answer Southeast, or they might change it, Igbo's Political Summit, or change it to Southeast Political Forum, or Southeast Political something. There must be group coming out. So next one is also be watchful and also that media issue to make sure we avoid people. Or if that is okay, we can also call for a merger.
Ngoyi is my name. Light and darkness do not come together. We've seen things like this before. Here we come, but we must conquer. The fact is that we know ourselves. We might be few here, but we know ourselves. We know our capacities. We don't play dirty. We don't want to have something like that. But when it comes up, if it involves playing that game, we can play it better than them. Some of us will not go or support this step towards registration. A group must not be registered. Once a group is formed, it is recognized. Registration only makes you a legal entity. Once you are registered and you are known, you are existing. But the only thing is that you cannot sue and you cannot be sued. If you are sued, somebody represents you.